Hey guys, and welcome to my channel Desirous, where we discuss all things that you are hungry for. This week's series will focus on up-potting seedlings. If you are hungry to learn how to up-pot seedlings from its initial seedling tray up to the next size pot before you put it out into a garden, then you come to the right place. This series we will focus on up-potting broccoli, collards, cabbage, some cilantro, and a few flowers. Let's get started. Okay, now before we get started, I'm going to show you, and I hope you guys can see me well, but I'm going to show you the reasons why it's time to up pot some of my seedlings. I planted these seedlings August the 19th. This is collards. I don't know if you see that. But now that the collards has about 1, 2, 3, 4 true leaves, I figured it was time to take it up a notch to a different pot, a bigger size pot, and I'm going to upsize this into some Bonnie cups that I recycled from some seedlings that I bought last year. So what I'm going to do is create my soil mix in this little container that I have. I'm going to put some peat moss in here, some soil, and some compost. 1 part peat moss, 1 part compost, and 1 part soil. Mix it all together and put it before I plant the seedling in the new pot. Okay, let's get started. This is the only peat moss I have left, so I'm just going to use what I have. Hopefully it's about 1/3. Using about 1/3 of each is ideal when you're making a potting mix. You don't have to use the kinds that I'm using. You use whatever's best for you. Majority of the time I just use what's on sale. And here's my compost. This compost I found works really well along with black cow. These are my go-tos. I get this right from Walmart. You can get black cow at your local Walmart. They just didn't have any when I went, so I picked this one. So as you can see, I have 1 part soil, 1 part peat moss, and 1 part compost. And I'm going to mix these all together with my little handy shovel. Give it a good mix. You can use your hands. If you don't have a shovel, you don't have to have a shovel. But I like to use a shovel because it breaks down some of the compost. Sometimes the compost is not broken all the way down. There's chunks in it. So I try to get those as smooth out as possible. You don't really want no chunks. You want your roots to be able to move throughout the soil when it's growing for nice strong roots. Okay, now that I broke some of the compost down, I'm going to take my hands and mix it all together. Mix it really well, and the three have different colors of brown, so you'll be able to see once it's well mixed. At this stage, because the seedlings are still sensitive, if there are any chunks in the compost or the soil, like large matter like this, I like to take it out. I just don't want anything to get in the way of my roots. Another one. Sometimes when you buy compost, all of the compost is not broken all the way down. So sometimes you can find some wood debris that kind of looks like bark. If you have big pieces, I like to take it out when they're just dishing off. Now if I was dumping this in my garden bed, it wouldn't matter so much because the seedlings would be mature enough to push through. The roots would be mature enough to push through. Sorry. All right, so this looks like I got it mixed well. Now it's time to up pot. Okay, before we begin, I want to show you what my seedlings look like from my seed starting tray, and why I chose to pot them up today. I want to show you what size they should look like before you make the decision to up pot them to a different size. So this is my seed starting tray, and right here we have some lettuce that could stand to be in here a little bit longer so it can get a little taller and have a little stronger roots. But right here, if you look at the calendula, it's, as you can see, it's really tall. So it's time for it to go to the next size up. My cilantro is also getting a little tall, and it could stand to be upsized. And along with this broccoli is a little tall. It could be thinned out to the next size. Also, this zinnia could stand to go up to the next size, but it's not quite ready to put in the garden. I don't know if you can see those. All my little tags in them. Like I said, once your seedling gets a certain amount of true leaves, as you can see, these collards have 1, 2, 3, 4 true leaves. And the true leaves are the leaves that your plant has. Most of the time, this is what the actual vegetable will look like, the part that you would eat. The 2 leaves that come, that germinate once you plant your seeds, those are not the true leaves. Those are just the leaves to show you that, hey, I just germinated, I was a good seed, and I pushed through the soil. So now, once this seed gets, the seedling gets a couple of weeks old, you will start to get your true leaves. And 4 leaves is enough to start upsizing to the next size pot, and it can also handle now some fertilizer. So what we're gonna do is, because it's a brassica, we're gonna add some blood meal to this soil mix. And blood meal has, it's organic blood meal, and it's good for leaves, like getting your leaves to look healthy. It also has some gypsum in it, which is calcium. Blood meal has a large amount of nitrogen, and the nitrogen is really good for leafy greens. So we're just going to add about 2 handfuls to the soil mix. That should be enough. And then I'm going to mix it in with my hands and try to get it all the way through evenly. You don't want to use too much because you don't want to burn your plant. You want to use just enough to make sure that seedling grows healthy. It has a chance at surviving in the garden. All right, that looks good enough. So now we're going to start upsizing. I want to take my Bonnie cup, from last year, and add some of this soil mix to it. I don't want to put too much because I am going to remove the seedling from this size. Can you see the difference? See the difference in the sizes of the cup? That's a significant difference. So I am going to remove it from this pot and put it in this cup so that it will live for a while until it's ready to go in the garden to develop some stronger roots, a stronger root ball. Make an indentation in the middle of the soil. I'm going to take my seedling lifter. I'm not sure what, comment below if you know the name of this tool. I'm not sure. I've used it for years, but I'm not sure the actual name of this. If you don't have one, it's fine. You can always just use your hand and lift it. You don't want to grab the plant and lift it out like that because it's still very young and very fragile. You want to take it, go down in the soil, and kind of lift up. Try to get under the roots as much as possible. Kind of lift up. Sorry, lift it up. And move it over to its new home. I'm going to add some soil to this. All the way up to the leaves that I told you push through to let you know that the seed has germinated. And press down to let out any air that could be trapped in the soil. Just like that. It has its new home. And I'm going to take my tag where I had labeled it Collards with the date, stick it in there so I remember what it is. Now, in this pot, this is the broccoli. The two leaves that pushed through, one of them broke off. I planted 2 seeds of broccoli in this one little pot. And as you can see, one is a lot bigger than the other one. This one does not have 4 true leaves on it, but it would have had 3. So I know that it's strong enough to come out and be upsized to a different size pot, so that this one can have the chance to get just as strong as this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take the tallest broccoli plant out and put it into a larger pot, another Bonnie pot from last year. Make a hole in it like that so that I can stick the seedling right in the middle. Sit right here. Take my handy dandy tool. Lift it out so that I do not damage the roots. Look at those roots, guys. Isn't that nice? Nice ball roots. I'm going to stick it right in the middle of the center of this one. I'll put some more soil mix around it. But it's nice, comfy, cozy in its new home. Now this one that wasn't strong enough to go into upsize has room to grow and produce a stronger root ball now that the other one is out. They'll both have a chance at a good life. I'm going to add a little more soil to this one around it, trying not to cover the leaves. All right, there you have it. So now what I'll do is I'm just going to get some more tags, because remember, we still need to know what this is. Now that this has a new home, there was only one tag for this pot. So now I need to get another tag and mark it as broccoli and put the 7/30 date that I have written on there, so that I'll know when I planted this from seed and what it is. I have made another tag for broccoli, and I put the July 30th date, and I'm going to stick it right in the Bonnie cup that has the new. So now that I've labeled the broccoli tag and put July 30th on it, I'll stick it now in the new seedling pot, the Bonnie cup, And now both seedlings have their own space to grow a larger root ball for a healthier plant. See, just like that. And I'll set it to the side. Okay, now we're gonna take the same pot that I took the collard seedling out of, and we're gonna put some of the soil mix in the cup to take the cilantro that I showed you that's in my seedling tray out of the seedling tray and up pot it to this 3-inch pot. Make a hole. I'm gonna bring the seedling tray over. I don't know if you can see the cilantro, but it's right here. Take it, and this seedling tray is a tray you can push up the bottom and just push that seedling right out like that with your finger, and it comes right out. So you have what they call a plug, and this is a cilantro plug. I don't know if you can see it. I might need to dump some of this out. It's too much. I'm gonna make a little hole for the plug to sit in. Then we're gonna fill back the soil around the cilantro, trying not to mess up the root ball, because it has a nice healthy root ball. Just like that. Like that. And then you just take the same tag that you had in the tray. This one says cilantro, and it was planted August 28th. I'm just going to stick it right in there, just like that. I'm good to go. All right, guys, so now that you've seen me up pot some collards, you've seen me up pot some broccoli and some cilantro, I have a few more. I have another broccoli over here that's growing strong, so we're going to up pot this one into one of the Bonnie cups that I had from last year, so that this one, the weaker one, can have the opportunity to grow a strong root ball and get some strong true leaves like this one. And I have some, we're gonna up pot this one, and I'm gonna also do, let's see with this one. I'm gonna also up pot this zinnia into a bigger pot. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these done, and I'll be right back to show you the next step. Okay, now that I have finished potting up all of the seedlings that I wanted to pot up, I'm gonna take you through the next steps that you need to do after you plant your seedlings. Okay, so I have this little container that I found at the thrift store. It's the same type of container that I did the potting mix in. I found 2 of them at my local Goodwill. I'm going to place the seedlings, this is the zinnia, the seedlings that I just up potted in this container so that they can be watered in. You do not want to take your water hose and water your seedlings from the top. You're going to go in and put the water in the base of the container so that the water can go up and go through the holes of the seedling and water the roots from the bottom. This will keep the seedlings from moving around, being more stressed than what they already are, because we just put them in their new home, so they're a little stressed. The water and the roots from the bottom will help them get used to this new spot and say, hey, oh, this is my new home. I'm going to continue to grow from here. going to take my water hose and kind of just squeeze lightly in the, ooh, that's not light at all. Squeeze lightly in the bottom of this container up to about an inch on the bottom. Just enough to cover the bottom of the pots that the seedlings are in all the way around. And let them sit in this water for about 15 to 20 minutes to soak up as much water as they possibly can. And then take them out of this container, dump the water out, and sit them on my table so they can begin to get some sun. And I will leave these outside. They're fine outside. The temperature has dropped significantly for us here in zone 8 early, which helps with brassicas, because brassicas do not like to be hot. They will bolt on you and won't be any good. Alright, so now that I got about an inch of water, I'm going to allow these to sit in the water and soak up some of this water right here for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then we'll take them out. Okay, now that the seedlings are sitting in the water for 15 to 20 minutes, you know that the water you want the water to penetrate all the way up through the soil to the top for the first time. So you will know that the water has reached the top once the top soil is a dark color. If it's dark, once the soil turns darker than the color that it originally was, it's ready to be taken out of that container. There's a few things that I failed to mention when up potting your seedlings. You want to make sure that you don't get those bottom leaves on that stem wet or buried under the soil. Try your hardest not to bury any of the leaves that are on the stem under the soil. If you're having a hard time getting a lot of that stem in your soil, or if your seedling is leggy at all, take those 2 leaves that push through the soil to let you know that the seed had germinated. Take those 2 leaves off. You have enough true leaves where you can put the soil all the way up to the very bottom of the first set of true leaves to make sure that you have a good root ball. So I hope that that craving that you had to learn how to up pot your seedlings has been fulfilled, and that you got a lot out of this video. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to my channel. Tell everybody, tell your friends that you're learning to grow and fulfilling your cravings over here on our channel so that they can tune in and get their desires met as well. All right, guys, so that's it for today. Tune back in later this week when we post another video on how to fulfill your cravings.